everybody. Welcome back into Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're going to talk a little bit about Nicholls State University. And to do that, we bring in Jared David, who's the communications director and university spokesman. So Nicholls State off to a good start. This time of year, I guess you guys have been in campus now for a month. And I'm sure everybody's kind of working their way into things and routines and that kind of stuff. Football has been on the roads and had that to go so far, right?
That's right. Our students have been on campus about a month. I was actually walking out on campus this morning, and it was, beautiful day today. And it seems like students are really kind of settled in and, enjoying their semester so far. But I think once we do have a few of these home games, they're really going to get that full college experience.
Yeah, the fall field this morning, actually a good part of it too. Yeah, so that's always a good feeling when you feel the humidity down a little bit lower. But something they might be able to do, right, since there's no football game this weekend, is Nicholls plays a big role in the International Beach Cleanup Day, and you guys do it locally here at Elmer's Island.
That's correct. So it's predominantly the folks in our biology department. It's, obviously the topic is very near and dear to them. They want to keep our beaches and our coastline clean. So we partner with our friends over at Shell, and we go out there every year on International Beach Cleanup Day, and it's really kind of interesting to see the litany of items that are picked up on the beach that you would just never you would never expect.
Right.
They go out there and it's kind of dual purpose. They obviously do what's intended of the day, clean up the beach, but there's also some research that goes into it as well. So they log every item that they pick up, and that's submitted to the folks over at Ocean Conservancy. So a log is kept of the type of items that are being picked up on beaches. And I was speaking with Dr. Elise Farrar yesterday. She heads that up for Nicholls on campus, and a lot of the items that are picked up, they're unavoidable. If somebody's out fishing, and the fishing line pops, or a net gets snagged and gets popped, it's kind of unavoidable.
Yeah, you can't jump in the water.
Right. But there are a lot of things that can be avoided, and those are the types of things that we want to bring awareness to and just get people to be mindful. She was, bringing up an interesting point. Last year we had Hurricane Ida. Well, there's tons of water that, just gets dropped and everything just gets blown around. Well, that water has to go out somewhere. So all of these things that are not secure in a hurricane get into the drain system and end up, on the beaches at some point or another. So it's very important that they go out and clean these things up.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you've seen the pictures from the amount of plastics that can be in the ocean, in the Pacific sometimes, that go up on islands that they're uninhabited out there. So I was reading just on what y'all put out about that. Last year, 200 volunteers, 42 students, which is good. That's a good activity for a student too.
It's a great activity.
A lot of times they're civic minded or they environmentally minded. This is a great way. You got BitNep that's also on campus.
That's right.
And all of those coastal restoration things. 4,000 pounds of debris and waste were picked up last year. So, and you said they log at almost 16,000 items that they picked up. Is there something specific? Plastic bottles? A lot of plastic, it seems like.
There's a lot of plastic items, which, of course, we know they just don't break down over time. And so those are the things that just roll back up on the beach. They just don't biodegrade. So it's important for them to get down there, pick them up, log what items they are picking up. But they're picking up things like ice chests and tires and just a lot of things that really shouldn't be on the beach.
Right.
So,
and this is just Elmer's Island.
This is
probably 3 miles. You also have Grand Isle right over there, which they do a good job of raking that beach all the time and checking things out. Don't always have the same facilities over at Elmer's, which is a little more natural over there. So this is a good opportunity. It's good fishing there too, if you can just throw a line out there.
Cast a line, that's right.
But I think we are a little more aware, and we seem like we're doing a better job than when it 50 years ago even.
Oh, absolutely. I think people, and you mentioned, this generation of students wanting to get out there and be more civic minded. It seems to me that this generation of student is a lot more mindful to the things that they're putting out there in the environment, and they're trying to be a little more cautious about putting trash and single-use plastics and things like that. So to be a part of this, what is a global cleanup day, I think it's a good opportunity for them to feel like they're involved. Dr. Farrar shared with me yesterday the 2019 numbers. There were over 1 million volunteers worldwide who cleaned up beaches on that day around the world. 22,000 miles of cleaned up beaches that day, and just in a single day. It's pretty amazing to think about. They picked up over 1 billion items, ranging from cigarette butts to refrigerators. You know, it's just a whole range of things. So I think as the world gets more mindful to the trash that's kind of clogging up our beaches.
So no, it should be a beautiful weekend. September 15th, again, they want volunteers. Now it'll begin at 10 a.m. and go to 1 p.m. They want volunteers. Can anybody just show up, or you have to register?
So they would like people to pre-register because, you know, they do provide lunch for everyone that goes out. But I'm sure if you wanted to show up and bring your own lunch, I'm sure that would be fine too. I'm sure they'll take any help they can get. Yeah. But I did happen to jot down if people can't make it for this year's on this Saturday, we already have next year's date, September 16th, 2023. Put it on your calendars. Register ahead of time.
Be ready to go.
Be ready to go.
You know, we were talking 2020, man. I mean, it seemed like every show we said, man, last couple of years we go from pandemic to a storm. But 2020, population wise at Nicholls was a lot higher than it is now. Folks not all going back to school as we did.
So we've had a little decrease in enrollment, but it's actually it's a national trend. It's not a Nicholls specific problem. Most of the schools in the state have experienced similar drops. A lot of schools across the country. There's been a little bit of a divestment in the value of a college education by today's generation. They may see, hey, I can go out into the workforce right out of high school and make a lot of money, which is fine. But we want them to understand sometimes that's in the long run maybe not as sustainable, or we're trying to make them understand there's definitely still a value to a college education. And so it's getting back out there and talking to them in a manner that's shows them what that value is.
Yeah, and look, I mean, we did have in 21 we had a big storm in this area.
That's
so
right.
From a place that recruits from Terrebonne, Lafourche, St. Mary, Assumption parishes, a lot of folks are kind of cleaning up, maybe not going to. So one good thing is that down about 1,000 students, but the retention rate from last year to this year set a record.
It's actually a university record for Nicholls. We retained 76.5% of our students.
That's incredible.
Which is a 7% increase, but it's 3% higher than our previous record. So it's pretty amazing, and it kind of speaks when you mentioned a pandemic and then a major hurricane coming through. If you think about that freshman class from last fall, this time last year, they started school 2 weeks later. Ida hits. Right. They're brand new to the university world. They don't really know. So really kind of speaks volume to their tenacity, but also to the support system that they got at Nicholls. Our professional academic advisors were on the phone with them throughout the whole process just to make sure that they had the things that they need, the tools that they needed to continue to succeed. And I think that's a large part of why we see that retention rate so high. Is we put a lot of focus on our faculty and those advisors and just everybody from top to bottom checking on one another and making sure our students were okay after the storm, so that they can continue to study.
Right. Well, but when you think about it, 19 was probably the spring of 20 is when everything kind of went crazy.
That's right.
Those kids on campus have never had a Maybe the seniors have had a normal year.
Possibly.
But yeah,
It's been
so if you're a freshman in 19, that wasn't, it was an interrupted year.
That's right.
20 was obviously the whole
Gone.
thing was bad.
Right.
22 weeks into 21, and so it's weird how these guys almost might be graduating and hadn't had a normal
without
year
having
yet.
a normal college experience. And so that's why we're really kind of hoping that this semester gives those students that opportunity. Coming up next weekend on the 24th, we're going to play our first home football game of the season. So we hope that they're able to go out and tailgate and hang out with their friends and have that normal college experience for Family Day. Family Day is always a great day on campus. I think talking to students out on campus, it seems like they're all focused right now, and they seem to be on the right track as far as, hey, this semester's going normal, knock on wood.
Right. No, it's been great. How important is it to start getting Terrebonne Parish again? We always kind of joke about it. It's the overpass, right? We just can't get over the overpass.
That Shriver overpass is
because look, when we're in New Orleans, home and Thibodeau stick together.
That's right.
But when we're not, we don't always. It's two different areas.
That darn Shriver overpass.
That's a big part of Nicholls' mission, though, is to incorporate Terrebonne Parish.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that Dr. Clune has focused a lot on, is the fact that Nicholls doesn't just belong to Thibodeau or doesn't just belong to Lafourche Parish. We serve the entire region. We serve the 8-parish region, and over 50% of our students come from Terrebonne and Lafourche, with more of our students coming from Terrebonne than anywhere.
Right.
So we want to embrace Homa, and we want Homa to embrace us. We are a resource for Homa and Terrebonne Parish, and we want to be able to say that people here are proud of us, and that they want to be a part of the Nicholls community just as much as anybody else.
I mean, you go around here, and almost all the people with degrees have started at Nicholls. A lot of doctors started here before they went to med school. So it's a big part of our community, although maybe you don't drive by it like you would in Thibodeau. Right. Maybe the guy living next to you is not a professor like it is, but it's a big part of our community.
So we started a number of years back now to it started with licensing and kind of getting Nicholls gear into more stores here in Homa. And so now when you're out and about, you see more people wearing Nicholls gear in Homa, and that really, really makes me proud to see. I know people here support LSU, and I'm all about supporting LSU as well. But when you got a hometown school right in your backyard, we love to see you supporting the red and gray.
Absolutely. And they do a good job of kind of offsetting their calendar too.
Definitely.
Where they're not going 7 o'clock versus 7 o'clock. So
that's right.
Yeah. But it's all more than a lot than just football too. Jared, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Bayou Time after this.